What's going on, world? It's your favorite author, Maurice, and I am here to do a review for one of my favorite movies of all time. Let's talk about it. Stephen King's It. Yeah, yeah. Turn up, turn up, turn up. We lit, we outside. All right. So I'm gonna review the original Stephen King's It, the movie. Shout out to all of you who love this movie just like I do. I did read the book when I was like 15, 16. So that's like 10 years after I saw the movie originally. But I read the book. It's awesome. It's amazing. Some of it doesn't age very well today. You know what I'm talking about. It's not good. That's not good. But either way, I love this movie. So with the show coming out, I definitely just will be reviewing the show. I said I have to review the movie. And this will be my first time really reviewing another piece of art like this. So before I just jump on and do my first review on the show, I decided let my first review be this. So here we go. I'm gonna break them up into different parts because if you've ever seen the original, you know this movie's like 4 hours long because it's two movies in one. There's a 1 and 2 immediately done for you. So I'm gonna break them up into their sections. So we're gonna start it off with how the movie all began. This is probably gonna be the shortest one of all of them. All right. So it all starts off with it's this mom is up in Derry, Maine. So somewhere you ain't never gonna go, because most of us ain't going to Maine. I don't know when we go there for it, but shout out to Maine. Much love to you. Definitely not Derry though. Either way. So it starts off, it's all see a storm is coming. It's about to rain. It's the 90s, early 90s, late 80s, as far as the aesthetic. There's laundry hanging outside in the middle as the storm is coming. There's a mama, she's out there putting her clothes inside. Cool. Everything is what it is. She tell her little daughter, hey, yo, I don't remember the little girl name. Yo, little Sally, come on, it's time to come in. The storm is coming. So Sally decides she's coming inside. All right. She's coming in with her little red tricycle. And as she's walking up, little blonde girl, she about to be about 6, 7 years old, maybe even 8. I don't know how old kids look, but either way, she's walking in with a tricycle. She steps on this doll. She looks down at the doll, and then you hear this weird laugh on the side. So it's real weird, y'all. I ain't gonna hold you. So she look over, and then she sees a clown smiling at her. And then like the wind blows the sheets and the clown disappears, and then she sees it again, and then it's a clown, and he's not happy this time. And it's the 90s, so they just pan into her with this loud screeching noise that kind of lets you know that bad things just happened. Okay? Next thing you know, the mom comes out looking for her daughter. Hey, yo, Sally, where you at? Where you at? She look, oh my gosh. She screams at the top of her lungs because apparently little Sally has been eaten up or whatever happened. So we don't know. We just know that she looks and she is screaming for her life. Next thing you know, it's cops here. Okay, the cops are here. They're pulling up and standing outside in the rain, mind you, because the storm is finally here. Now it's raining. In the rain, it's Tia and Tamara's daddy with no mustache, a.k.a. Mr. Tim Reed. His name in this movie is Mike Hanlon, but we know him as Tia and Tamara's daddy. He just ain't had no mustache in this movie. But either way, he's standing there and he is not happy with what he has seen and what he's hearing. All right? He go over to the cops. You think he a little detective at first, but then he go talk to the cops, and it is very clear the cops are not on his side, and they do not rock with each other. They like, listen, I don't even know why you here, bro. You a librarian. Like, we cops. Let us do what we do, and you go do what you do. Go find a book. Shout out to all the authors. And it's like, all right, but he's like, hey, yo, this not weird to y'all? It's not weird that this is like the however many kid that's gone missing and died this time. And you know how it go in these movies. Don't nobody want to hear nothing logical. So the cops is like, hey, yo, go be a librarian. Okay? Get out my face. And then they go walk away from him. That's not what they said. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what they said. So then T and Tamara's daddy with no mustache looks over and he sees a picture sitting by a tree, mad random. But he goes and sees the picture. He picks up this picture. It's a black and white picture of a little boy. He looks like he just seen a ghost. If you seen the movie, haha. So he goes back to his library like they told him to do because the cops ain't rocking with him. And he starts talking about how things need to get, how all this stuff has happened. And he starts giving you timelines of different things. And then next thing you know, it fades and then we go into a house. So this is the beginning of it. From here on out, we're going to jump into everybody's section. Hopefully that was enough to tell you where we going and where we've been. But I'm going to be dropping them at different times. I just don't want to overload you with too much at once. So this is the beginning. That is how we started. Little girl, we don't know what happened, but something bad happened. The cops pulled up. T and Tamara's daddy with no mustache pulled up. He's not happy. He finds a picture. He goes back to the library. And then we cut and we go to another home. We first meet our guy, Bill, and we find out that Bill is an author. Shout out to all my authors. Shout out to us. We out here. First representation. And Bill is a horror author. So you see him in a room. He got the fat back 90s computer. He getting to it. He typing and using the thesaurus of his brain. His brain is a thesaurus. He's using all the words. And then as he's in his zone, here come a knock at the door. Do, do, do. So as an author, I was immediately annoyed. You know, it's like, oh my God, come somebody's knocking on the door. Because you know how that feels. Somebody's knocking on the door. You're getting your zone. You're trying to do your thing. And here they come. And then come to find out it's his wife. And he's like, hey, yo, 10 more minutes, please. Maybe he asked for 15. Who knows? But he asked for, like, just a little bit more time. And she was like, hey, yo, you said that like an hour ago. And it's like, see, context means everything. Because, now it's not so much of somebody's annoying an author and pulling you out your zone. It's more so, bro, you got to go eat dinner with your wife. You feel me? Like, you got to do that. Like, you wildin'. So he come out there. She got the carrots and bread on the plate for him. It looked bad, but you know, he love her. And next thing you know, we find out his wife, her name is Audrey, and she's an actress. She's currently acting in the adaptation of one of his books. Now they're talking about the director, and he doesn't like the end, and they want to do things. He has to come up with it. It was just a bunch of. It is important, but I mean, like, we come here for the clowns, so I'm sorry, I'm not breaking all that down. Yeah, his movie stuff. Long story short, he gets a phone call as he's eating those carrots. He goes, he answers the phone, and it's Mike Hanlon, T and Tamara's daddy with no mustache, aka the great Tim Reed. He's in there and he tells he tells Bill, he says, is this Bill? Bill's like, yeah, who this? He says, it's Mike. And then Bill automatically, as soon as he hears Mike, you can see oh, why is Mike calling me? Like, he didn't remember it, but he remembered real quick, okay? So basically, Mike tells Bill that he has to come home. It's time to come home. You gotta, it's come back. When he says it's come back, Mike, Mike basically should have just told Bill he got 4 kids on the way that is not by Audrey. Okay? Because his face was like, what? Everything came rushing back to him. He goes, he tells, what's his name? He goes, he hangs up the phone. He tells Mike he understands. He hangs up the phone. He goes and tells Audrey, he goes back in the room with Audrey. Audrey's like, yo, who was that? She could see it all on his face. He like, hey, yo, I just need a minute, bro. And he starts like stuttering. And she's like, yo, why you stuttering? Like, you wasn't just stuttering. He like, yo, just give me a minute type shit. You know, shout out to him. So he goes outside. He has a moment to reminisce. And this is where we get into our first memory. We get into the first memory and we see that Bill is like around probably 13, 12 years old. He's young, but he's still old enough. And he's in the bed, he's sickly. They bring him to the house. They're playing the that song always haunted me because of this movie, but that's neither here nor there. So we get there, we see Bill. Bill is in bed or whatever. He looked like he's sick and he's coughing and all that kind of stuff. Look real sickly. And then his little brother, Georgie, comes in the room. Shout out to Georgie. So Georgie comes in the room and he's like talking to his big brother, Bill. Bill's in bed and Georgie's like, hey, mind you, I want to be clear. It's raining. It's raining hard. All right. That's important. It's raining outside. Georgie comes to Bill and says, yo, come sail this newspaper ship with me. Back in the day, before you had an iPad or like anything to really entertain you, you usually just had to find stuff to do. So back in the day, people used to like create these little ships that they would sail out of newspaper. I don't know if people are still doing that. It feels like a lot of work today. But back in the day, that's what they would do. And Georgie wants to do that with his big brother, Bill. Now, Georgie's like 6, 7 years old. He's clearly a little kid, loves the life out of his big brother, but Georgie's being real rude. I mean, Bill is being real rude to Georgie. You know, the real big brother, little brother trope that they do like to do and say. So basically, Georgie asks Bill to help him with the newspaper. He helps him with it. Big brother stuff. Great. He loves it. Then Georgie asks him again, like, hey, yo, come outside with me. And he like, nah, bro, I'm not doing it. But very disrespectfully, I'm not doing it. So then Georgie goes, gives Bill a kiss on the cheek. Bill loses his mind for a second, like, yo, I got to get your cooties. And he can't even say it because he's stuttering half the time. And I don't want to make fun of people who stutter, so I'm not going to keep doing the stutter the whole time. I just wanted to, show you guys how Bill talks. But anyway, after that, Georgie gets ready to go outside, and Bill tells him, like, real eerie. He's like, Georgie, be careful out there, He stutters it, but he says it. Georgie understands. This is where that famous yellow raincoat comes from. Georgie is outside, pushing the ship into the water. It's going down. He's having a time of his life. This child is outside in the rain by himself. That's what's happening here. I just want to be clear. I do not want anybody to have this mistaken. There is nobody outside. You want to know why nobody's outside? Because it's raining. So the fact that the people let him go outside because it don't make sense, but that's neither here nor there. It upsets me every time. But yes, Georgie's riding a little newspaper sailor John. He takes it down. Actually, it goes down the water takes it down into the sewers. All right. So Georgie immediately freaks out because he just lost it. And Bill was very clear not to lose it. So he loses it. Georgie gets all upset. He goes to tries to grab it under the thing, and he accepts that he can't catch it. It is what it is. He's upset. Before he can leave and even go home, he hears a voice. Again, that creepiness from earlier that we talked about. So he hears a voice and he's like, hi, Georgie. Shout out to Tim Curry, the original Pennywise. Shout out to Tim Curry, man. We love you. Hopefully you get better. Well, I don't know your views, so thank you for it. I'll say that. And all the other stuff you've done. You've been an amazing actor in my life. Shout out to you. But yeah, so he pops up, Pennywise pops up, and he's like, hi, Georgie. And he's like, Georgie ain't trying to talk. Georgie was very clear, stranger danger, but not clear enough to walk away. So I get it. You see a clown in the sewers, you're about 6, 7 years old, you're going to stick around for that, right? So Pennywise starts talking to him. Georgie's like, yo, I can't talk to you, bro. Like, they told me don't talk to strangers. And Pennywise like, yo, my name Penny. Your name Georgie. Now we family. We good. Georgie like, I guess that makes sense. You right. But I feel you, bro. I got to get up out of here. Now, he's not really questioning this clown thing because he's a child. He's just like, yo, I got to dip. So he decides to dip. Georgie goes ahead and Pennywise pulls out the newspaper John. So Penny looks like, so Georgie gets all hyped, like, yo, I can't believe it, you got it. And then he's like, yo, come get it, type shit. It's real weird, and they have a brief interaction. Long story short, he ends up ripping off Georgie's arm and leaving him in the street dead. Now, in the 90s, they didn't show that. So we didn't know that happened unless you read the book. Or the remake. Shout out to the remake. But this version, you just see the close-up on the teeth, and then is the funeral. And from there, we have the big scene where Bill goes home and he opens this photo album, and when he sees the picture of Georgie, it winks at him. And once it winks at him, he drops it, and it starts turning through the pages. And next thing you know, blood comes out. His parents come in the room, they see it, and they act like nothing happened. And that is the beginning of Bill. Ben, the old head played by the GOAT himself, John Ritter, aka Jack from Three's Company. He is in a limo with a bad joint, 80s, 90s bad, type stuff. So they in a limo, they lit. You can see they coming from the award show or whatever they just came from. They had a great time. And they about to have even better time because he done pulled her back to the loft and they about to chill and have a great time, do all the things that you do when you're an artist and you winning awards and all that kind of stuff. Shout out to all the authors getting their books done. So he bring her back to the crib. They start chopping it up. They start talking. It's all good. Love is love. We getting set up. He about to go get a drink. My son get a phone call. Boom, he answer the phone. It's Mike Hamlin. John is like, oh, his name is Ben, excuse me. Ben is like, hey, yo, Mike, what you called, bro? I ain't heard from you in years. You already know how it go. Whatever. It's all good. But then Mike go, nah, it's come back. And Ben ain't trying to hear none of that. Ben is like, you sure, bro? Like, what's up? Like, that's like, it's almost as if everything came flooding back to him at once. And he was like, nah, this can't be the case. And Mike is like, yo, remember your promise. You got to come back. So Ben is like, all right, I got you. I'm coming back. He go back, he go at the phone, he tow up. He ain't trying to even talk to Shorty no more. She like, you good? He taking a drink. He doing all the things that a traumatized person does. And she like, yo, you good? He like, nah, I'm not good. I'm not good at all. She like, you gonna unalive your still? And he was like, nah, not tonight, but I wish I might, you know? So then he goes upstairs to the top of his loft and he starts reminiscing. And we see here that he was the new kid. One thing that he does mention to the joint that he was with, he was like, yo, you know I used to be fat, right? And she was like, no, no way. Not John Ritter. And he was like, nah, yo, I was fat. I was big back in the day. They wasn't on me back in the day type stuff. So when we see him as a kid, we see he is the big guy. So he's in front of a class. He's introducing himself. Not only is he the big guy, he's a new guy. Now, I know in 2025, those things don't mean much, but in 1980 or 1990, being fat and new meant bullied, okay? That's what that meant. So he's in there, and then he's introducing himself to the class, and then we meet the bully, Henry Bowers. Well, he's more than a bully. He's a sociopath, but that's neither here nor there. Henry Bowers makes fun of him. They call him, and then you see his friends Belch and the other guy. They make fun of him, and the teacher tells Henry, like, hey, yo, you got detention after school. That's important. Henry goes, yo, my pops is going to wash me. Like, please, I cannot do this. His teacher's like, hey, yo, you should have thought of that before you was making fun of people, so get up out of here. We learned some things about Ben. He likes history. He likes a lot of stuff. But one thing we see is he looks over at the girl. He's in the same class as Bill, and he sees this girl in the class that he likes. Afterwards, after he gets detention, Henry Bowers gets detention, the class ends, and the teacher tells him, hey, yo, follow that 7 o'clock curfew. Y'all know it's crazy out here. It's a lot going on. So this is where we start to get the introduction to things are happening, and it's so bad that they now have a curfew for the kids. Things are happening to the kids. So Ben is outside. It's after the first day. He walking, he chilling, and next thing you know, the girl from the class actually stops him and talks to him. She's like, yo, you gonna stand here all day? Because he was just standing there doing nothing. Next thing you know, they start chopping it up. It's like, oh, then these two rude little girls, I'm gonna call them girls, but they come through and they bump through them and all that, and they like, excuse me, y'all, some people ain't got no class, some people's fathers are janitors, and they gonna look at the girl bullying her type shit. So it's like, oh, it's crazy. All right, so that's what we doing. So the girl introduced herself as Beverly Marsh. Ben meets Bev. He likes her. It's cute. It's cool. Move on. Ben goes. He's going home. That's where he run into that man, Henry Bowers. Henry Bowers is with two other dudes, Belch and another guy. I don't know his name. It never matters. So they all hanging. They all like see Ben and they like, hey, yo, I got detention because of you. Bong, grab him. Already washing him. They bullying him, beating him on him and all that. So in the movie, Henry pull out a knife. They holding Ben. He's all on this fragile gate. They holding him, and my son Henry pull a knife out, and he like, yeah, nah, I'm gonna carve my name in your stomach so you never forget who I am. Now in the book, he starts to actually do it. Even in the remake, they do it, but in this version, they don't actually get to it. As soon as he starts to get ready to cut him, his friends is not even really with it. But as soon as he gets ready to do it, Ben kicks and he falls into this fragile gate. He falls down a hill, very convenient hill, leads him into this forest area, the dam area. The Barrens is what they call this. This is down by the Barrens. So Ben goes, runs, he hides, Henry Bowers and them, they all running after him. When they get there, Henry Bowers and them, they don't find Ben. He's hiding in some I don't even know what he's hiding in, but it's a place to something that you don't even want to be at. So he's hiding there. Henry Bowers and them, they run and they see Bill. So my son Bill is with this little fragile homie here, and they go over there and just bother Bill and them. Now, Bill ain't no sucker. Like, they ain't just run down on Bill because he's the main character. You can't just run down on the main character. But they bullied him too. Just not the same way they bullied his mans who was real frail. They pushed him. He all fell on the floor. He's all having an asthma attack now. So it was crazy. They destroyed whatever they were doing. They were playing with rocks and water. That's what they were doing. So they destroy it. Henry Bowers and them is like, hey, yo, where that fat one at? And they like, yo, we don't even know what y'all talking about. Like, leave us alone. So Henry and them bully them a little more, than they leave. Then my son is still on the floor. having a whole asthma attack. So Bill is like, yo, you ain't got your medicine? He like, I ain't got no medicine. Ben finally pop out. I mean, he like, yo, thank y'all for not ratting on me. They like, yo, Bill, they meet him. They meet Bill. Bill meets Ben. And he like, yo, this my little homie Eddie. So it's Eddie. Eddie's having an asthma attack. Bill is there. And Ben is popping out. Bill says, yo, I need to go get his medicine. Can you stay with him? Ben stays with Eddie. They talk. They get to know each other. That's where we learn a lot about Bill. That Bill ain't been the same since Georgie got ran through by the clown, and now things are different. Eddie ain't got no daddy. That's the situation there. Bill comes back. The three, they become good friends. We're gonna be friends forever. We'll build the dam together. They're building the dam. I've been watching this movie since the 90s. I cannot tell you what the hell they've been building the dam for. We don't have that in the Bronx, so I just didn't know what that was about. I just never followed that storyline. So whatever's going on there is what's happening. So then we see Ben back at home. He's writing a nice little poem and all that. He's in his vibe. He's doing his thing. January Ember, my heart burns there too. That's what he said. That's what's poetry back in the day. He minded his business, and then somebody come in the room, a little kid around, not a kid, but somebody around his age, that 12, 13-year-old age. And then it's like, hey, yo, he snatches the poem, and he reads it out loud, and he's making fun of him. And then that's when we find out that's his cousin. And Ben is not no slouch. So Ben grabs his cousin and just starts beating on him. And his cousin is like, yo, ma, get him off me. Benny's wildin', he wildin'. So his mom come in, yo, get off my son, that's my son, all that kind of stuff. It gets real, ghetto there. And then they pull him off. They take next scene we see. Oh no. His cousin tell him he hate him. The only reason you here is because it's our Christian duty. It's real ghetto. So then they go outside. Benny's talking to his mom, and she's like, "Yo, you gotta go apologize." And he like, "Yo, they only treat us like this because Dad's not here." And she like, "Yeah, but we in their house, so you gotta apologize." That's her sister, so she not trying to cause no problems. She just want to be. So he run off. He not trying to hear none of that. I hate it here. He runs away. He gets on his bike. He rides out to the forest area again. And when he gets out there, he hears his dad calling his name. He goes and sees his dad on the other side of a pond. His dad and his dead dad, by the way, his dad who's no longer with us, in his uniform, standing across the pond. He's like freaking out for a second, so he looks away and then he turns back. His dad is talking to him. He's like, "Yo, come over here. We float. We all float." That's the famous line. You'll never have to grow up. It's an illusion. He turns his head, looks back. Now he sees the clown staring at him, pointing at him, laughing with the balloons and all that stuff. He freaks out, and then a skeleton zombie thing comes out the water and grabs his foot. He freaks out. He runs away. Doesn't know what happened. Then we go back to John Ritter, or excuse me, Ben as an attack on the roof, freaking out. He drops He drops his bottle off the roof for some reason. He freaks out, thinking back on the past about his dad, about seeing that image, about all the memories he forgot, rushing back to him at once. And that's the end of Ben. And from Ben, we are gonna move on to Beverly. We met Beverly already. We know that Ben likes Bev, but Bev likes Bill. That whole thing is what's going on. They don't really rock with her at the school. That's all we've seen of her so far. So now we see her as an adult, as we've seen with everybody so far. We see her as an adult. She works at some high-end fashion house. It's very cool. Looks like a sweatshop a little bit, but that's not what it was, apparently. I don't know. Either way, we see her in the room. She got the shoulder pads. It's the 80s, 90s, them blazers. You know how them things go. She's in there with a guy. He's sitting there with his dapper suit on in a chair. They're talking. And then the only other black person you're going to see, this black woman comes into the room and she says, "Hey, I got a Mike Hanlon on the phone for you," to Bev. So Bev looks at her man. Her man looks at her. Her man says, "Yo, she not taking that call right now." And Bev is like, then the lady, she like looks at Bev like, "I didn't ask him, so what you doing?" And then she goes, "No, it's all good. I'll take it later," or whatever. So the shorty leave out. My son get up and he like, stands over her, caresses her face, and he's basically like, "Hey, yo, don't ever undermine me in front of her again," type stuff. And it was like, okay. So they supposed to be going to some meeting with, I believe, our Japanese people. So they go to the meeting. We don't really see the meeting. Doesn't matter anyway. Next thing we know, scene cuts. Cheeks are getting clapped, or they're just finished with all that. And now my son is going to get him a nice little drink, celebratory kind of thing. They in a nice hotel. While he's out getting a drink downstairs and in the kitchen getting a drink, she gets a phone call. It's my son Mike Hanlon again. Now, if you've been paying attention, Mike Hanlon is like the Grim Reaper of happiness when he calls. Whenever he calls any of them so far, every last one of them are shocked. They are all stressed out, okay? They all look like they got a baby on the way that they had no plan on having. So that's what it is. My son is downstairs getting a drink. Her husband or boyfriend, whatever he is, he's downstairs getting a drink. He comes back to the room. Now, mind you, when he get back in the room, when he left the room, she was in the bed. They just finished doing they do. When he come back in the room, she is dressed and her bags are halfway packed. He's like, what's going on? She like, yo, you ain't even gonna understand, but my son Mike from back in the day, he told me, like, I can't even explain it. Like, I gotta go home though. And he like, what? And she like, nah, like it's crazy. Like I made a promise, and before she could finish, he smacks fire out of her. Disrespectful. Fair. We don't condone none of that around here. So he like starts telling her like, yo, you been getting around doing what you want to do. I'm not even gonna let this happen. He go in the closet, pull out a belt like she a child. Or maybe children don't deserve to be hit by belts anyway. No one does. But anyway, he pulls out a belt and he like, yo, I gotta teach you. It's been too long since the last time I had to teach you a lesson. Which basically lets us know that he be, doing what he do. He be putting his hands where they don't belong on her. He be in there. So from there, they like, all right, she gets up. He's like, she gets up. She goes by the dresser. She starts throwing everything. She has her J-Lo enough moment. And she picks up this big jar of coconut oil. It wasn't coconut oil, but that's what we understand. So I'm going to say that. It was a big jar of coconut oil or Blue Magic and throws it at his head. Bam! Hits him in the forehead. Buddy hits the ground. She's like, never again, Robbie. Never again. And I don't know if his name is Robbie, but that's what she said. She said never again, basically. She leaves out. It's clear she's leaving this abusive relationship and she's going back home. She gets in a cab. She, tells the cab driver she's going home. Now we go back to her. Now she's reminiscing as a kid. So we see her in her crib. It don't look too nice compared to everybody else's, but it's a crib. She goes open. It's a knock at the door. She go open the door. See this little card on the floor. It's a poem. She picks it up. She reads it. She's all flattered because she's like 12, 13. She's a kid. Yes, she's like 12, 13 because, if you read the book and you know what Stephen King did, I want to point out these kids are like 12, 13. So, yeah, she reads the poem. She's like, oh, my God, this is so cute, whatever. Then her dad comes. And her dad, she tries to hide the poem immediately. And her dad's like, yo, what you got going on there? So he reads it. And he like, you out here with some boy, talking about some boy. Like, real, I could tell he say the N-word on his spare time kind of stuff. So, like, she's like, he accuses her of being with men and boys or whatever. She's like, no, I just got that. I just got it. Tells him to leave her alone. And then he slaps fire out of her. Just like her man just did. So we see that she's been getting slapped since she was a kid. Like, this is just the cycle of her life. She never really got out of that. She runs out the house, gets away from her dad, and she's sitting on the side. She's hiding. And then we see that Ben, because he wrote this poem. We saw that he wrote it in the last part. He wrote this poem. We see Ben outside. Like, he's the one who put the poem outside her crib. He caused all of this. So then he goes and finds her, and he's like, yo, you good? Is everything all right? Sorry for sneaking up on you. She like, yeah, whatever. What you doing over here anyway? He like, nah, I just wanted to make sure you was cool. He trying to be smooth. He trying to be on her body, even though he just watched her go through like some traumatic shit. It doesn't really matter to him at this point because he's like, yo, did you get my poem? I mean, he's not saying that, but that's really what he's over there for. Like, I'm guessing you got the poem. So he go over there. He like, hey, yo, come with me to the, yo, I could bring you outside with the gang. You feel me? Like, you ain't got to be out here. And she like, word? He like, yeah, come down to the Barrens. Now, the Barrens is their little spot. Him, Bill and Eddie, even though he just got with Bill and Eddie. That's their little spot. So he bring her down to the Barrens. He bring her down to the Barrens, and it is very clear that she got a thing for my man's Bill. All right? Her and Bill looking at each other like peanut butter and jelly. Okay? They just ready for each other. And my son Ben is over there clueless, sitting here and, introducing everybody. It's like, Ben, you the new kid. All right? They know each other. When you came introducing yourself, they sat right in front of each other in the class house. All right? You the new one. So That's the situation there. So it's clear to the viewers that Bill and Bev like each other, or Bev like Bill, whatever the situation might be. Then that's where we meet the other two main characters. We meet Richie and Stan. Richie is a comedic relief. Stan is our Boy Scout. He literally is wearing a Boy Scout outfit. They come over. It's a cool time. They all meet. They bond. They become friends. They do a Temptations montage. It's pretty cool. They're playing in the dam. I don't know why they're building a dam after 20 years. I still don't know. I'm sorry, guys. One day I will figure it out. I think it's 30 years now. One of these years, I'm going to figure out why they were building that damn dam. All right. So outside of that, they leave. They go home. We see it's Bill, Bev, and Ben. Uh, Bill and Bev are flirting, but it's clear to Ben that she don't really care for him. Bill leaves out. She recites the poem that Ben wrote to her, thinking that Bill wrote it. Ben is hurt. They leave. We go to Bev. She's in her house. I'm sorry I'm skipping through a lot of this stuff, but it's not that deep. The important thing is the clown. She goes home. She's in her bathroom, brushing her hair, getting herself ready for bed, when she hears voices coming out of the sink. Okay, there are voices coming out of her sink. Now, mind you, the girl's about 12, 13. I'm going to keep pointing that out. She's hearing voices. She's like, who is that? Who's there? And it's the kids, all of the kids that have gone missing so far. It's them all saying, Bev, come down here with us. We'll float. You'll never have to grow up. All that kind of weird stuff. Then out of nowhere, this red bubble comes out the sink and boom, explodes all over the place. It is blood flying all over the bathroom, or not even the bathroom, just all over the sink. It's all over her. She runs out to her daddy, who be hitting on her, and he's like, hey, she's like, help, Dad, it's the sink, in the sink. Her dad comes, he looks, and now mind you, the sink is full of blood. Nothing is missing, nothing went anywhere. It is all over the place. It's all over there. Her dad comes and touches it and is like, well, what happened? What's wrong? And she was like, a spider, or whatever she said. It was pointless. And he was like, these drains are old. And he said, I worry about you. I worry a lot. And then walked out as if nothing happened. So we see another parent not acknowledging what is happening in front of them. And then you hear Pennywise telling her that she will not make it if she tries to fight him. And he says it in another way I can't say on here. But he lets her know, like, if you try to fight, it will be a dub. And and then we go back to her as an adult. And that is our introduction to Beverly Marsh. Eddie Casbrack, okay? So we see him immediately as an adult, and he is in his bathroom taking medication. While he's in there, you can see he's dressed already. It looks like he's in a hurry, in a rush, when you hear his mom's calling out his name. So his mom's is calling him. It's like, Eddie, Eddie. He's like, I'm in here, my hair, visibly annoyed by the fact that she's calling him. And he's like, she's basically asking him, where is he going? What's he doing? He has a bag in his hand. He's all dressed up. And he's like, look, I got to go out. I got to go. And she's extremely overbearing. Now, at first, it's kind of just one of those, he's acting very erratic. So I can understand why anybody who sees anybody they love acting the way he was acting, kind of like, hey, yo, what is going on? The way you acting is a little bit weird. So from there, he's like, yo, I have to go. I have to leave. She's like, yo, tell me where you're going. Just at least let me know where you're going. He's like, yo, I'm going back to Derry. So this lets us know he already spoke to Mike Hanlon. He already had his Mike Hanlon call, and that's why he's heading back, okay? So she's like, no, I don't even know why you need to go back to that dirty town. It's disgusting. There's nothing there for you. And he's like, ayo, I got to do what I got to do, because apparently there is a promise that we seem to keep coming up with, that these people, no matter what they got going on in their life, they're going to go back to Derry, all right? So we see him. He gets in the car. He tells him he's going to the train station so he can get to Derry. We reminisce and we go back to him as a kid. Now, when we get back to Eddie as a kid, we start in a movie theater. Now, in Beverly's video, they became a little group. It's now Bill, Bev, Ben, Eddie, Richie, and Stan. There's 6 of them now. So they're in the movie theater. They ganged up. And I remember what that was like. When you young, you go out with your crew to the movies. They was lit. They having the time of their life. So there's an upper section and then there's a lower section in this movie theater. The group, we're all sitting at the upper section together. So while they're watching this horror movie, it's a werewolf movie. That matters later. It's a horror werewolf movie. They're watching it, and then Eddie accidentally kicks over the popcorn. Now, when they all stand up to see where he kicked it, they see the popcorn lands on Henry Bowers. Now, if you ain't been paying attention, Henry Bowers is the bully who tried to carve his name into Ben's stomach earlier. So they see that he dropped it on them before anybody could say anything. My son Richie, who is the comedic relief, but also funny. I'm not just funny. I mean, also has a good heart. My son Richie comes and is like, "Hey, yo," he says something to him and then pours his drink on all of them. Pours the drink on them. Real love in hip hop. There, like rewatching that, there was dead no reason for him to do that. He just did it just to do it. But I guess they've been bullying everybody at some point. So it's like, yo, if I got the moment, I'm just about to volley. So they run out the movie, the group of six, who we on? Eddie, yeah, Eddie and them. They run out the movie theaters together. They're like, let's go, oh my God, laughing and joking. They head back to the Barrens because that's their spot. We still haven't been told why they're building the dam. Maybe we have. Please put it in the comments if they have. That's just the ongoing joke because I don't know what they're doing down there. They're building the dam. But either way, they go back to the Barrens together as a group. They're joking, they're laughing about what just happened. And then they see the building that Ben saw when he saw his dad, the illusion of his dad. There was a building behind him, and now they're all back at the building. Now, they're talking. Eddie, Bev, Bill, Richie, Stan, they're all talking, but Ben is not saying anything. Ben is on the side looking at this building, freaking out, reminiscing what he saw that day, but he's not saying anything. Eddie realizes that that's what's going on. Well, he realizes something's going on with Ben. He can't figure it out, but he doesn't put too much on it. They leave, they go back home, and you see, they drop Eddie off at the crib. When they drop Eddie off at the crib, his mom's comes out and she's like, "Oh my God, Eddie, I was going to call the police. Where were you? I've been looking all over." The sun is still out, mind you. So they were at the movie theater. So the fact that she's flipping out and freaking out like this is weird. She tells them like, "Go away, stay away from him," and then brings him in the house. And she's like, you don't need them as friends. I'm the only friend you need." Then she tells him, "And when you go to school tomorrow, don't take no shower with those boys. It's disgusting. You're going to get sick." So next thing, we pan to the next day at school. They're clearly leaving gym, and the gym teacher stops Eddie, and he's like, "Hey, yo, did you take a shower?" And Eddie's like, "Nah, I ain't take no shower." The gym teacher's like, "Hey, yo, bro, you take gym. You're going to stink. You need to go take a shower." So this is that time when students are taking showers together. Very, very different life. I ain't never lived that, and I'm thankful to God for that. I mean, I guess college is like that, but no, that was real prison, like where they was all in one thing. So long story short, Eddie goes to take a shower. While he's in the shower, it's a bunch of shower heads all over the walls. The shower heads start blasting hot water. They start coming out the walls all over the place, elongating. And Eddie, like, what's going on? Like, he freaking out. He's running around trying to get past things. And the water's just like coming at him. So then he runs out and then he hears Pennywise's voice. And Pennywise is like, "What's good, Eddie?" type stuff. He puts both hands through the drain and then comes out. Now, Eddie's on the other side of the room having an asthma attack watching this. And Pennywise comes out and he's basically just like, "Yo, I just wanted to say what's up because at some point you're going to be down here with me. And when that time comes, I just want you to know it is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it." So Eddie is freaking out and Pennywise is sitting there looking at him. Many memes have been born from this scene. And then Pennywise shows off his teeth to scare him. This is all a scare tactic. So then we pan back to Eddie. He's on the back of the train and you see him freaking out, reminiscing about this. So now we've gotten 5 of them who have seen Pennywise in different, or maybe 4, in different areas of their life, but they haven't talked about it yet. So we are going back to Derry, and that is going to be Eddie Casbrack. Richie told you, all right? Now, when we start this one off, we see a comedian doing a set on the Tonight Show kind of biz. You see he's killing, and the people love it. He's hilarious. He's great. Now, we can already deduce this is Richie. Richie's always been our comedic relief, but as an adult, we see he's taking it further than just being a class clown. He is actually a full-time comedian, and he's doing very well for himself. You see, he got the suit. He's suited and booted. He goes in the back. It's people there. It's fanfare. His niece is there. The people love him. It's great. It's amazing. And he goes back there, and he's like really just, in the rush between the agent. You can see he has much success. While he's in the room with all these people, the phone is ringing. So it's chaotic. He answers the phone in the middle of the chaos. And guess who it is on the other line? Tia and Tamara's daddy with no mustache, aka Tim Reed, aka Mike Hanlon. And you know, whenever we hear Mike Hanlon, things are not good, no one's happy. So Richie immediately is like, oh yeah, bro, I remember exactly who you are. Heard it, copy. Next scene. Richie is talking to either his manager or his agent, whoever it is. Whoever it is not happy because Richie has basically made it clear, look, I need a few days. I got some stuff I got to do. The manager or agent is like, hey, yo, what's up? Is it like a woman? It's the mob? Like, what you want? Like, what you going through? Like, tell me what's up. And he like, look, I can't even really explain it to you, but I got a dip. I'll be back, though. Like, but I need a couple days. He like, yo, bro, it ain't never been nothing you can't tell. Like, what's going on? Like, this don't make sense. You leaving money on the table. We about to lose bread. This is crazy. Richie not trying to hear none of that. Richie like, look, I got stuff I got to do. I ain't trying to hear nothing you talking about. You don't understand. This is bigger than rap. This is deeper than rap right here. So the man, his agent, manager leave out all angry and whatnot. And then you see Richie go and he starts thinking about it. And then we see a scene where he's younger. It's younger Richie, but it's a werewolf. Think Michael Jackson in Thriller. A werewolf on trying to grab his arm and he's screaming help for dear life. We go back to him being an adult and he goes and throws up because that image rushing back to him tore him up. So he goes and he throws it up or whatever. He lays his head on the toilet after he closing it and whatnot. And we see him going through this as an adult. So not as a kid. We reminiscing back to when he's younger. So we see him there. Bill is telling the group, they're all in the Barrens again. Bill is telling the group a story. It's very clear based off their response that Bill tells them stories. He becomes an author later, but he's telling them stories and we get to see how this happens. He mentions magic stones destroying the beast. So while they're there talking, they're joking, and they're basically telling you who they're going to be in the future and who they want to be because most of them became just that. And then Bill walks off and he's like, I'm not really sure I want to grow up. And they're like, yo, what you mean you want to grow up? Like, bro, I'm trying to be out here in these streets. I'm trying to be lit. So then Bill is like real dramatic and whatnot. He's like, hey, yo, can I tell y'all something? So we see Bill is about to reveal what happened when he went in Georgie's room and the photo album flipped and it winked at him and the blood came out. He was about to reveal that when this cop pulls up. So the cop pulls up like, hey, yo, what are y'all back here doing? Like, y'all, look at this dam. So the dam that they're doing, which I still don't know what they're doing with it, but the dam that they're building is going to cause a backup for a flood in the city if they keep doing this, basically. So he yells at them like, hey, yo, stop this. This is madness or whatever. They all take, he's like, whose idea was it? They all take, you know, I'm Spartacus, that kind of thing. So he's like, hey, yo, it's a little shorty, her name Velma Will Richards or whatever her name was. And they're like, yeah, we know her. They're like, yeah, well, she just got murdered. So I'm going to need y'all at any time that y'all out here, y'all want to play, y'all need to be deep like this every time. It is not one or two of y'all. Y'all need to be ganged up every time y'all outside. So it's like, word, okay. They just found out one of their classmates got killed. So, but you know, it is what it is. It's a little jarring, but we skip. Then we go to the lunchroom. Now we in the lunchroom. My son Richie is with my son Stan. They always together. Richie and Stan is like, you know, two peas in a pod. So they walk in and they see the group. Like it's the rest of them. Ben, Bill, Bev, and Eddie. They all look depressed because each of them have seen Pennywise at this point, and they're not telling anybody what they saw. So they're all depressed about the fact that they seen this clown and they can't tell anyone, and they don't really know how to handle that. Richie and Stan have not seen him yet, so they don't really get what's going on around them. So as they're going back to the table, my son Henry Bowers pulls up. So you know Henry, he pulling up ready to scrap because that's all he do. He don't come from nothing good. He don't have no, you know, home training. He with the gang, his two little other friends, Belch and the other one, and they pull him to the side and they like, hey yo, the other day when we was at the movie theaters, okay, and somebody poured the drink on us, who was it? Now, if you remember the part in the last part, it was Richie. Richie did it. Nobody even told Richie to do that. Richie just did it just cause. So, but it was Richie. So they like, hey, yo, tell us who did it, and we might let you rock. So he like, Richie's never like Richie is nobody's bitch. I'm just gonna say that. Like Richie is not a punk at all. You're not gonna get Richie to fold. So my son Richie looking at he got the plate and you know they put mashed potatoes on his glasses or whatever. They bullying him. Richie takes the plate, the tray, puts it all over Henry Bowers, all on his shirt. Him and Stan and Richie run. Well, Richie runs. They run after them, and then they end up, Henry and his crew end up falling in the cafeteria. Everyone laughs. They jump at Richie when they get up. Richie runs, hits the principal. He ends up hitting his tray all over himself. Now, this is where it gets very interesting, because the principal gets mad and tells Richie to go down to the basement, find a janitor, get something to clean this up. That's crazy, but that's neither here nor there. So Richie goes down to the bed, goes down to school around the boiler room, the janitor's room, to find the janitor so he can clean this up. That's where we find out the janitor of the school is Beverly's father. That's why they be making fun of her, because every day they see her father cleaning up the school. And then Richie tells us he's probably drunk as a skunk. So what we now know is that Beverly's father is not only at the school cleaning every day, he's also clearly visibly drunk in front of the kids, that they know this man be drunk and cleaning. So he goes in the boiler room to find Mr. Marsh. He can't find Mr. Marsh. He sees something, he sees a figure, and he thinks it's him. So then he goes over and he's like, hey, yo, I just need a mop or something like that real quick just to clean this up. The little figure, the person, comes from behind the boiler, and we see that it is a werewolf. So Richie is like, he's freaking out, but he's still like kind of dazed about it. And then the werewolf grabs him, and then we see the pan back to when he was screaming help because the werewolf had him. He runs for his life, and he turns back around, and he sees Pennywise the clown standing there. And Pennywise is all flamboyant and extra, and he's like, you're gonna flew down here, come back anytime. And this is where the famous beat beat Richie comes from. If you are a fan of it, beat beat Richie is important. If you're not, it's not, but don't worry. So he tells him to come and, come back down here. You can float with the rest of them. And then, he shows off his teeth, his fangs, and then he starts moving towards Richie. Richie runs for his life. Now, the part that blows me is when Richie runs into the cafeteria, he doesn't say that it's a clown with teeth. He says it's a werewolf. He screams for help from everybody in the cafeteria. It says it's a werewolf. I didn't like that part. But either way, when he says it, the whole cafeteria laughs at him. Nobody takes him seriously. And then we see him laying in his bed, freaking out, panicking. Now, like the rest of the group is, besides Stan. It pans from him being in his bed to being an adult, laying his head on that toilet, still looking the exact same way as he did as a kid about this. And then we learn that this is Richie. He's the one who, although he is the comedic relief, this is how he got to see Pennywise. And now he's on his way back to Derry like the rest of them. Mike Hanlon, the person who's been calling everybody and ruining their days this entire movie, okay? So now we jump into Mike Hanlon. We see he's back in his library. He's looking over his old stuff, and then he runs across this picture. It's a picture of him and the whole squad. Now, we haven't seen him as a kid with the squad yet, but it's that time. So we reminisce to back when he's a kid, and he's standing in front of the class giving a presentation or whatever. It doesn't really matter. Either way, in the presentation, he's mentioning a lot of Derry history. And he mentions how over 253 settlers went missing and that whole bit. But while he's doing the presentation, Henry Bowers, of course, our bully, is there, and he says something slick to him. The teacher checks him but doesn't give him detention this time. It ends with Mike basically telling them about the history of Derry. Class over. As he's on the street, he runs into Henry Bowers, and now it's like 5 of them. Before it was just Belch, the other one. Now it's like 5 of them all together. And they are all bullying Mike together. And it's very, very not cool. Like, they're calling him the N-word. They calling him boy. They're saying all the things. Now, I want to say some things, but I don't know what TikTok is going to ban or block. So I'm trying to keep it as, but it's very much like, oh, word. That's what type of time y'all on. Actually, from what I understand, Stephen King has a history with this, with his black characters, of going straight full Quentin Tarantino in it. So yeah, that's what happens. They take his photo album, because he's been telling the stories in class, but he's presenting from this photo album. So they take his photo album, they hold it against him. They're like, and then Henry goes and takes a cherry bomb and decides he's gonna put it in Mike's pocket and let it blow up. So luckily, the store owner from across the street is like, hey, yo, I don't know what y'all doing, but y'all need to leave him alone. They turn around. Mike grabbed the photo album. He hit the light feed. He get up out of there. He running for his life now. Now we see Mike is running. Henry and them is after him. Then it pans back to the group. So it's the 6. It's Bill and them, or Beyonce and the girls. It's like Bill, Ben, Bev, Eddie, Richie, Stan, and they're all kind of talking about why they didn't say anything originally when they all saw Pennywise. The only person who hasn't seen Pennywise yet is Stan. So Stan is like, I don't know what y'all talking about because that doesn't make sense. You saw a clown, you saw a werewolf, you saw this. Like maybe it's just some crazy guy like that just does not logically make sense. They like Stan, we know what we saw. Then they hear Henry Bowers yelling after Mike because Mike is still running for his life. He just so happens to be running in the area that they're at, sitting down talking about Pennywise. So they run, Mike runs towards them and they let Mike come for safety. Shout out to them for that. Henry Bowers is like, he calls all of them an offensive name and basically is like, hey yo, I got problems with every last one of y'all, but for today, I'm gonna let y'all slide. Today, I just want him. Talking about Mike. So Bill is like, nah, bro, you're not even about to run down on my mans like that. Like, y'all already know what type of time we be on. Now, that's not how he came. But, you know, Bill is the leader. So Bill is always stepping up like LeBron. Like, I'm the one. When they heard Henry and them, they all picked up rocks. Bill, Bev, Ben, all of them, they picked up rocks because they know what type time Henry be on, and they know they can't beat him with their hands. So they all went and picked up rocks. So when Henry and them pull up and they decide they about to come get Mike, each of them, Eddie, Bev, Bill, they all start throwing rocks at Henry and them. So now it's a rock fight. So they throwing rocks, rocks is getting thrown back and forth. A rock and Henry throws a rock and that drawing his Bev. Now Bev starts screaming, ow, and my son Ben is not having it. Ben, who ain't never been no punk himself, I mean, they did try to stab him earlier, but that's different. Ben runs down on Henry. Like, he goes, tackles him on the ground. He trying to get right with him. His friends is running away because they getting hit with rocks. So they ain't running while it's Henry, like, Belch and the other one. The people's is out, and then Belch and the other one leave Henry behind. So now it's just Henry and the six of them, seven now, because Mike is there. And Henry like, what y'all gonna do? Like, y'all can't beat me. And then Bill is like, hey, yo, bro, we'll put you in the hospital. Like, don't play with us like that. Like, it's seven of us. We'll wreck you. No, he's like, it's six of us. We'll wreck you. And then Mike pull up like, actually, it's seven. So what you trying to do, bro? They ain't talk like that, but that's what happened. Henry ends up leaving, and he's like, I'll kill you all. I'm going to get you all. That's what he says. He's going to get them all. Cool. We move on. They all go and sit together in the Barrens because they have to always go back to the Barrens. They're in the Barrens and they're going through Mike's photo album. They're talking about Pennywise, and Mike doesn't really know what's going on, but he's like just listening to them and gathering it. Stan is still on the fence of, I don't know what y'all talking about. Y'all just making stuff up. So they go look through his photo album and they see there, okay, it's a picture of Pennywise the clown. And Richie is immediately like, oh, is it Richie? Whoever it was, I think it was Richie. One of them was like, hey, yo, that's him right there. That's who I saw in the, yeah, it was Richie. He was like, that's who I saw in the boiler room. And the rest of them are like, word? Like, you know, everybody's kind of, Stan is the only one who's like, this is just a picture. So then it goes through and they see another picture of him. And it's like, yo, what's going on? Like, he was here back in the day. These photos are from decades ago. So this is before any of them were alive. It's like the early 1900s. And it's like, yo, how was this clown here that long? So then the book does what it did when it was in Bill's room. The pages start flipping and they start going through their own thing. All right, there we go. So the pages start flipping on their own, and from there, the whole crew can see what's happening. Now it's no more of Stan being able to say no, because we're seeing this happen. Then the page flips on a picture, and out of nowhere, now this is the 90s, so before we had, you know, the iPhones and stuff like that, to see a picture moving was crazy. Now, yes, there were videos, but never nothing like this. That, I mean, we still don't actually have that. But either way, the picture starts moving and then it comes to life. It's a circus. And then you see a figure flipping towards them. Come to find out, it's Pennywise the clown. So Pennywise is enjoying himself in the city, and then he turns and looks at each of them, and then he growls at them while pointing. He runs up, and then everything turns into color, and then he's like telling them, I'll kill you all, I'll take you out, I'm gonna drive you crazy, and trying to scare them. Because what I believe, or what you can see happening, is they are forming a group. And for some reason, even though he gets near them, he won't touch them. He won't take them out. So He finally tells them, I'm gonna get you all, and then puts his hand through the picture, scaring the mess out of all of them. They throw the book to the ground, and then Stan finally has to accept what he's seen. They don't want to accept it, but they have to accept it. Well, Stan doesn't want to accept it, but he has to. The rest of them are all, and they saw this already. They know what it is. So Bill decides, yo, we got to take him down. That's it. I'm not doing this no more. You killed my brother. It's time. Like, Georgie gone. You ain't going to drive me crazy, bro. I'm running down. And he like, please help me. He tells them to all help him. So you know Beverly, she up there first. Like, yup, I'm going to help my Bill. And then the rest of them come, they hug, and then they all decide. Stan is the last one. Let's be clear on that. Stan comes last, and then they all decide they're going to take out Pennywise together. That is what happens when they are all together as a kid when they create the group, the Lucky Seven. Now, from there, we pan back to Mike. He's in his library. He's reminiscing, and then he looks to the side, and he sees muddy footprints on the floor. He sees the footprints, he follows them, and he turns, and he sees a yellow balloon next to him. The balloon pops, and a loud screech comes out, and he gets scared for a moment, and that basically lets us know Pennywise knows what Mike is doing, and he is not happy. All right, now let's jump into the last one. Stanley Uris. All right, now this might end up having to be two parts because it's literally the end of the movie. So his at this point, we've all reminisced with each of them except for Stan, and Stan has been the one who didn't really want to stand on anything or believe in any of this until he saw it firsthand and had no choice. All right, so we see Stan. He's down in Atlanta. He's with his wife. They're sitting down. It's pretty, it's a standard night. They're watching TV together when his phone rings. His phone rings, and then he goes, picks up the phone. Guess who's on the other end of the line? You guessed it, Mike Hanlon. All right, Mike Hanlon is telling him, hey, it's come back. It's time for you to do what you said you was going to do back in the day. Stan says, word? All right, copy, heard it. My son Stan is like, his wife like, yo, who's that? You good? He like, yeah. I'm about to go get in the shower and take a bath real quick. My son Stan go upstairs. He get up in the he go in the bathroom, and then we go back into his memory bank. All right, so for Stan, let's see. Stan was like Chucky from the Rugrats. I gotta have the notes for this one. What did we do for Stan? Because all right, when we get back to the group and we start reminiscing, we are back at the Barrens with the group. Now they have all decided that they're going to go take out Pennywise. At this point, it's not a game no more. It's not a thought. It's like, yo, we gonna do this once and for all. So in Bill's last story, he mentions how the magic stones defeat the dragon, and they are using that in real life. So they have these aluminum foil balls that they're turning into stones, and or I don't know if it's aluminum foil, whatever it is, they're going to use it to beat Pennywise with it. But what they're using is their belief. It's really not so much of what it actually is. It's whatever they tell themselves it is what they're going to use to beat Pennywise once and for all. So they're all shooting the little aluminum balls at these glasses to see who has the best aim. Each of them suck. The best one is Bev. Bev, she is the one and only. She gets it done. This is where we get the line, it's like it's supposed to be Bev. She's the one who knows how to take them. She's the one who's going to be able to aim, shoot, fire. They decide it's going to be Bev, and then they go from there. They meet up all together in the rain, and they go down by the sewers. Now, before they go, they have a short little conversation about it. They say, yo, this is what it is. They convince Stan to go, because Stan did not want to do this, even though he showed up. They convince Stan to go. He finally decides to go with them. They go inside the sewers, and when they get inside, you see Henry Bowers and his crew, two of them, Belch and the other one, they're outside following them. So Henry makes it clear they're going in there to kill him. So the kids go inside the sewers or whatever. As they get into the sewers, it looks scary. It looks dark. Bill tells Stan, hey, if you want to leave, this is the time to do it. Now, mind you, when Stan turns around, he sees like, it looks scary. Like, no, I'm not leaving by myself. We just came here all together. So Stan is like, all right, whatever, yo. So they decide to go down. As they go down into the sewers looking for Pennywise, Henry tells the other one that's not Belch, he tells him, hey, yo, go get them around this side so that we can corner them so that they don't have no way to get out. The other one is like, yo, but you want me to go by myself? Like, we in the sewers, bro. And Henry like, yeah, like, what you scared of, bro? Go do what I said. So you know what a lackey do? He go do what a lackey do. He goes and he goes to the section to go follow them so that they can trap them in there. So as the kids are going, they find little clues to let them know that Pennywise is down there. They keep going down further. Then you see his friend, Henry Bowers' friend, is on the side by himself, and then this white light starts coming through the drains and the pipes. You see the white light come through, it goes, and then boom. You see the light comes out and it towers him. So we don't actually see what the white light does to him. We just see the light comes over his body and then he screams and then that's the end of him. All right. So now one of Henry's friends are down. And yeah, now one of the other one, he's gone. Henry apparently has never seen Pennywise because are not scared of anything for some reason. But yeah, his friend is gone now. He's taken. Then while the group, the Lucky Seven, while they're going through the sewers, Henry and Belch manage to grab Stan, cover his mouth so no one can hear, and the group doesn't even realize Stan is gone. Okay? They got Stan on the side, and it's like the group is just going along, not realizing that Stan is gone. So you get back to Stan and Henry. Henry is like cutting off the buttons off his shirt with a knife because he always has a knife. And he's like, yo, you are going to suffer one by one. I'm going to take out all of you, yada, yada. You know his spiel. That's what he's always here to do. He's got problems. As that's happening, the white light that just took his mans out comes through the pipe on this side. So they like, hey, yo, what's going on? They're watching the light, and then it bursts through the pipe. The white light comes out, and then we see Belch, his main man, Henry's main man's Belch, being lifted by the white light and then drug into the drain that just the pipe that just burst. We see his body like be contorted into it and then taken down, and then you hear him be eaten. That's what happens. You hear Belch be eaten by Pennywise. That's what's going on. It's in the movie, y'all. All right, it's 30 years old. You should have seen it. So yeah, Belch is being eaten by Pennywise. Then Henry screams out for his mans. He's like, yo, Belch screaming out for him. And then the white light comes back. When the white light comes back, Stan gets up and he gets up out of there because he's not trying. He's always been scary. He is Chucky from Rugrats. He's not trying to do none of this. I don't know if he's scary or smart. I don't know because you can't really escape it, but at the same time, yeah. So anyway, he runs. The white light comes over Henry Bowers and his hair just turns completely white. Stan runs out. He runs for his life. He ends up finding his friends again. He finds his friends and he tells them, this is what's going on. He's running, but the white light is now chasing him. So as he's running and he meets up with his friends, the white light shows up. Then the white light comes over all of them together. It's like this crazy force of energy and power. They look up, and to me, it always looked like a turtle, but that's neither here nor there. It looked like a turtle at the top, but the white light comes over them. It doesn't harm them or anything. It just goes through into another drain. So once it goes into the drain, it's all darkness. Then this smoke comes up. They all of them wake up or get up, and they're like, "Yo, we gotta come together." They all hold each other's hand. They make sure everybody's accounted for, and then Pennywise starts up. So Bill tells them like, yo, resist, because he's gonna try to get you, but you gotta resist. So the first thing Pennywise does is bring up Georgie. He has Georgie screaming out for Bill. Bill turns around. He almost forgets his own advice in 10 seconds. And then they help him. Bev tells him that's not him. And then Pennywise continues. Now, Bev's dad is down there yelling at her, but it's not really her dad. Richie tells her, yo, that's not your dad. Then werewolf hands come across Richie's shoulders, and he's like, none of this is real. It's not real. As long as they resist the urge to fall for whatever he's trying to do, it does not affect them. Then we get to Stan, Chucky from Rugrats, scared for his life. And he's sitting there saying a mantra to keep himself from going crazy, and then we hear some Pennywise say his name. He says what? He looks down, sees that he's holding Pennywise's hand. Pennywise jumps into the screen, jump scare, picks him up, puts him up against the wall, and tells them that he's going to eat them and that their fear makes the kids taste much better. This is where he tells them he's an eater of worlds and children. So he eats children and worlds. All right. From there, this is where they pull out the silver stones. No. Excuse me. They pull out the silver stones and they get ready to shoot him with it. But because Bev is all scared, she drops it. So my son Eddie pulls up with his inhaler and says, "Yo, this is battery acid." And because he believed it was battery acid and sprayed Pennywise with it, that's what happened. It burned his face. From then we get them. Bev finally gets the stones in hand. She takes the stone and she uses the little slingshot jaw. She takes it hits Pennywise right in the skull. Now, when it hits him in the skull, this white light comes out of his head. And the white light comes out, it's clear that he is hurt. When Eddie sprayed him with the inhaler and that battery acid went on his face, his skin started peeling. So he didn't look like a clown anymore. Now he started looking like a monster. So when she came and hit him with that stone and opened up his skull, that's when the white light appeared and it was like, oh, okay. He was clearly hurt. So he decided to go, he flipped actually into a drain and started contorting his body into that. Bill was not with none of that. He ran and grabbed the hand like, nah, you're not getting away. And then eventually they all tried to grab the hand. And then the hand ends up no longer being a hand and turns into a claw. And then it gets sucked down into the drain and you hear him clearly retreating in pain, hurt. After this, they are all there. They decide to leave from the drain. They can't tell if it's dead or not, but they leave. They go outside, and this is when they decide. They say, hey, Bill is like, yo, swear to me that if it's not gone and it comes back, we going to come back and handle this together. Now, I want to be clear. Each of them said yes except Stan the first time. Now, they went in a circle, one by one. Boom, boom, boom. I swear, I swear, I swear. It got to Stan. It was quiet. Stan was like, I didn't swear to anything. I don't even swear. Like, I'm Jewish. I don't do all that. That's how Stan was moving. So he came back, and then it was like, I swear. And he swore. So he swore he would come back. Cool. They swear they're going to come back. Now, the book is where, this is where things get weird, but we're not going to go there right now. In the movie, we pan back to Stan as an adult, and his wife is pulling up. She trying to get a little. She know he in the tub. She trying to get a little freaky dicky going on, and then she goes in the bathroom, and she doesn't hear him. She freaks. She looks over. She goes by the tub, and she sees a razor with blood, and then sees the word "it" on the wall written in blood, only to find Stanley passed on. And that is the end of the movie. Though they came back, Stanley will not be. All right. So that's the part one. I don't know if I'm gonna do the second one because that one doesn't get broken down like this. We might do it. Y'all tell me if y'all want me to keep reviewing. I'll do it if y'all want it. But other than that, thank y'all for coming down the memory lane with me reviewing the movie It. And shout out to Derry when it starts. I'll be doing more of this. So y'all keep coming back and I'll be here.